This morning we're in Pioneer Park, and this is in Hardee County, about 2 miles from where I'm camped. Jake and I are out for a morning walk. It's a little creek over here, a little river. I'd have no idea which one it is. Don't know much about the park either, so come along and enjoy the adventure. It's been several days since Jake has been able to get out and get a walk, so he's being kind of rambunctious, but he certainly deserves to get out and blow off some steam. I remember as a very young adult, in my very early 20s, I went to visit a friend who was living in South Georgia and close to the Okefenokee Swamp. And at that point, alligators were really endangered, and they were talking about just protecting them and getting them reintroduced. And I guess it was extremely successful because there's alligators everywhere. So when I'm walking along a creek like this with the dog, I'm always on alert. So haven't seen anything, not around here anyway. And the park is loaded with no swimming signs, so you can imagine why that is. Again, probably because of the alligators. But it's a gorgeous day. It's not really all that hot because we're in the shade. I suspect if we were in the sun, it's very humid, it would be a whole lot hotter. But it's not too bad right now. I don't know how far out this trail goes on this peninsula. Nice little rest station. And I suspect we'll go a little further. What do you think, Jake? Now here's something I didn't expect to see on a wilderness trail. Again, if I didn't say it before, this park is loaded with no swimming signs. I assume that's because you just never know what might be swimming in the water with you. And I assume they're talking about alligators. Snapping turtles too, who knows? Thus far, a very nice trail. Very lush green. I'm not sure I'm ever really looking at the camera or the lens or the screen or what I'm supposed to be looking at, so if it looks a little odd, that's why. But I'm just panning around to show you. It is dense foliage, some grass. Occasionally you'll see a little entrance down to the water, usually pretty sandy, and I assume that's where some of the gators crawl up out of the water and get up onto land. Glad it's not mating season. I know there is a way to lock the exposure on this camera. I'm just not sure how it works. I like the sun flare there a little bit, but anyway, you can see it bounces dark and light, and that happens because the camera is continuously trying to get the optimal exposure, whereas I just as soon have it be constant. That way the camera's not winking at you Well, up there is US Highway 17, and across the way you may be able to see the back end of some campers. And based on that information, I can safely tell you this is the headwaters of the Peace River. I think I'll pass up trying to cross that bridge to that side of the trail. There's a branch that goes sort of down that way where I came from, so I think that's the way Jake and I'll head. Well, that bridge is across some pretty stagnant standing water. And that is the kind of water that I understand sometimes you get yourself in trouble with, because snakes, alligators, all kinds of things. I'm not afraid or anything like that, but I don't want to do anything stupid, so I'm going to keep him away from still water if I can. He can run faster than I can, so I probably ought to be more afraid for myself than for him, but oh well. That is a cypress tree. And that, my friends, is a cypress knee. That is a cypress knee. This is a really nice walk. Of course, we're in Florida, so it's flat as a pancake. I'm still very close to that little rill of standing water, which makes me a little apprehensive, only because, you know, that's where stuff can live. There was one of those little Florida salamanders that scared Jacob. And it looks like we're getting back closer to the park, which I'm kind of glad of, because I didn't know where exactly this trail was going to go. But it made a nice big circle. And we're kind of back where we started. There's a little museum on the way in here. I think it was 1879 it was built. So I want to stop and at least get a little bit of information about it in the park. If I didn't mention, this is called Cracker Trail. And as I understand, cracker is a term that's used for a native Floridian. Conch or conch is another one, but I think I've heard that. Basically down near the Keys. So, not sure of the difference, but anyway. That's one of those little paths up from the river that I can just see an alligator hauling himself up over out of the water. You may not be able to see him very well, but there's a small gator over there. You can see just his head under the tree. There was a fellow that spotted him for me and was kind of throwing some rocks to see if he could get him to move. Well, there's some guys over there playing football and having a good time in the park, which is good to see. The one fella is the one who spotted a gator for me. And anyway, Jake enjoyed his walk. We're back at the truck, and I think what I'm going to do now is head out toward the entrance of the park. And out there, there was a cabin. I think I saw a sign that said it was built in 1879. There's a museum around here. I'm not sure whether that's it or whether there's something else. So we shall see. But a beautiful, beautiful, called Pioneer Park in Zolfo Springs, Florida. The big live oaks with the cypress trees, the headwaters of the Peace River, and a nice sandy level walk along the river. Just watch your step, I guess, because you just never know what might be in the river. But good news is the alligator doesn't want me any more than I want it. And it was a small one, so it was on the other far side of the river, which is a good thing.